Fellow nurse entrepreneurs, one of the things that I've always wanted to do was always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have the flexibility, pretty much have their freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hi, everyone. Today we got a star, okay? For real. All right, we got star Bobatoon. So one of the things that I would like for you to do is I want you to like, comment, share. I want you to tell us what you liked about the podcast. Comment, share the podcast out to your friends because it's going to be an amazing conversation. So let's get into it. So Star, tell us who you are in your own words.
So I am Star Bobatoon. I am a public speaking and presentation coach. I believe that every time you speak, it is a performance, and every place you speak is a stage. And I work with entrepreneurs, I work with professionals so that they can give the best performances they can on every stage they take.
I love it. So Star, tell us a little bit about, because you kind of started out a little different than a lot of us. Star's not a nurse, okay? And so, but she started out a little different. So you said that you were an actress at first, correct?
Yes, I was an actress from the time I was 7 years old. I've been on stages and television and the movies and commercials. I wasn't terribly famous, but I did okay.
So what made you was it someone pushing you to be an actress, or you just said, I like the stage? Like, how did that come about? Because my mama was like, we're not gonna do that. Okay. All right. Because I wanted to be a singer. All right. I wanted to be Aaliyah's sidekick. Okay.
I see it. Well, I had a different sort of family dynamic. My mother was an actress. She is still an actress. And so she just put me in. She didn't ask my opinion. I didn't ask for it. She's like, you're going on an audition and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I just did. I'm a child. I do what my mother tells me to do. But I loved it. I just really got into it. I found that this was my gift, right? This was my calling, being on the stage, impacting an audience, influence an audience. I absolutely loved it. So I didn't ask to be there, but I believe that God put me there, and my mother.
I love it. All right. So now let me ask you something about, you eventually went to school to be a lawyer. Now, what did that transition look like for you? Why, you're an actress, why go to school, be a lawyer?
So what had happened was when I was in that, on the stage, I ended up getting the lead role in a major television show, right? It was a big break for me. It brought the whole family to California, and we're out there, running that show for 2 years, and I was miserable. I was happy on the one hand for the opportunity. It was great. And I was using my gifts. I was doing my thing. But the unhappy part was there was just a lot of tension and hostility and not so good feelings going on in my inner circle. And I assumed, because I was a child, that it was because I was in the spotlight And the only way that I could think to make it go away was to step out of the spotlight. And so I left acting, packed up my my love, my gift, packed it up, put it on the shelf, and just went on with my life. Now, how I became an attorney, it's so funny. I remember being in school when I was about 18 or so years old, 18, 19 years old, and someone said to me, "Oh, Star, you should be a lawyer." And I laughed because my background is acting. My family are actors. Lawyer, that's for other people, for other people. And I had never seen anyone who looked like me as a lawyer. So I assumed that that was off the table. 10 years later, right? 10 years later. So first of all, I went to jury duty, and who was my judge but a Black woman? I was like, I was amazed. And that sort of opened all sorts of things in my head, like the possibilities, right? It opened up those possibilities. And so a little while later, my house was destroyed by a negligent contractor. And I know you're asking, what does that have to do with being a lawyer? What happened was we fired her and then she sued us. She sued us for completion of project, even though she destroyed our house. And so I was working as a legal secretary in a law firm at that time. And I go to my attorney, my boss, who's a partner in the firm. I go to him and I say, "Can you help me out?" This man walks me into the law library, tells me to read a book and handle it myself. Viola, I was like, have you met me? I'm a legal secretary. I have a 2-year degree in photography. You want me to defend myself against an established attorney? It was 10 years experience, a law degree. I'm sorry, what now? But this is the idea of having someone in your corner, someone who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. And it's the same way that I know that you believe in your nurses, right? You see things for them that they can't see for themselves. Mm-hmm. This man saw something that I didn't see. So I go through all of the motions of handling that case, and I loved it. I kept saying, if this wasn't my problem, this would be great. And so I went to law school. I was encouraged. My husband was and he's like, if that's what you want, do it. And so I went to law school, became an attorney, and I practiced for 10 years. And I loved practicing law. So that's how that transition happened. Again, it was God saying, hey, I've got another path for you.
I really like what you just said, because I think that one of the things that I don't like about how, this administration is taking Black history out of the schools, right? Because what you did was you went and you saw a judge who was Black. And that inspired you at that moment. And you had already had the thought in your mind, but once you saw the judge who was Black, then it was, for me, it was Oprah that, they said she was a billionaire. And I said, so would it be like, what we doing? Okay. And so then it was game over. It literally was game over. It opened up my eyes to what the possibilities are when it came to us as African Americans, and really just changed the launching pad for me. But another thing that I like about what you said as well is when you were talking about the lawyer who believed in you, right? Even sometimes when you don't believe in yourself and you don't see it in yourself, for him to believe in you and for him to put you on the forefront and say, do this. And it really changed what you do. And of course we have, instances, because we own real estate, and we've had instances because real estate, sometimes you got to take the good and the bad with that thing, because sometimes it can be nightmarish, right? But it can definitely be something that can help you. And so I'm sure that you learn lots and lots of lessons from that. But I do want to go back to what you said about the people, like you had tension within your life, okay, prior to. So just give me an example, okay, of the tension that you had that made you like kind of, if you don't mind, do you mind? Or
I can share.
okay.
So we had a family member taking care of me. I was a child, so I couldn't be unsupervised. And that family member would say things to me like, you think you're all that, you're not anything. These people don't really like you. You don't really have talent. You're just lucky. And just made me feel like, it just made me feel bad, and this was someone I cared about, whose love I wanted. And it seemed to me that they didn't love me anymore because I was in this spotlight. And things like that, just little snide remarks, just constantly putting me down, just, I remember we were at one Hollywood party, right? And it was in my honor. So I'm spending the entire day grinning like this because it's fabulous and it's all kinds of celebrities there. And, and I'm the belle of the ball. I'm having a great time. And then I see through the crowd the family member, and her look. You know how when you're a child and your mama gives you a look and stop whatever you are doing and straighten up. That was the look I got, and I knew it was time to go. And I just remember she was walking ahead of me and I was sort of trailing behind, and she didn't have to say anything, but I could feel the anger. And that just was all the time, every day. And now, as an adult, I understand people have other things going on in their lives that may have had nothing to do with me. But as a child,
you don't know.
I thought it was all me. And the only way I could think to let it go was to step out of the spotlight. And, people go through this all the time. Dr. Viola, they go through this all the time where they have a dream or they have a light, and that light disturbs other people. And those people start to comment and throw things at them. And so often, more often than not, especially as women, we decide to mute our voices and dim our lights in response to make other people more comfortable, right? To save the job or save the relationship, sometimes just to save the peace. And that's also part of the work that I do. I have a program called Amplify Your Voice, right? And it is all about working with women to uncover the stories that are holding us back in order to create new stories for the lives that we are meant to live.
I love, love, love that. Now, I have two questions about that particular instance. Do you still have a relationship with that person today?
I do. It is estranged, but it's
okay. And did your mother ever know anything about the conversations that she had with you?
No.
Okay, gotcha. One of the things that we tout in our program, so I have a client that came to us. She actually came to us. She had no business acumen, no nothing. Okay. So she came about 5 weeks into the program. She had this lady who she respected, right? She went and she told her about what she wanted to do. She wanted to do some consulting. And this lady told her, well, you need to trash that idea. It is not something that's going to happen. You need to move away from that. Now, when she came to the call, and this is the one thing that I think of when it comes to, especially whenever you're in coaching and you have, collective coaching together, right? She came to the call and she was crying. She was incredibly upset. And she was like, this is what she said. I said, you're on the cusp of your breakthrough. I said, don't even listen to what she said. I said, because that's a crab in the barrel, right? I said, they're just trying to pull you down. I said, and don't listen. A week later, she closed a 6-figure contract. 7 months later, she closed another 6-figure contract. She started working with lawyers. She just closed another contract with a lawyer. And probably about 5 months ago, she closed another six. So she's a multiple six-figure earner just because she was in an environment that said, you don't stop no matter what. So I hate that happened to you, but I think that it led you to where you are now, which is helping women to do the things that they are to do. Now, you became a lawyer and you were a lawyer for 10 years. You said you loved it, but then what happened with that?
So I'm a lawyer. I've got a good life. I'm married. I got a couple of kids. Life is good. Viola, life is good, you know, but something wasn't right, you know? And I would drive home, you know, from my lawyer job in my fancy car, right? And I'm gripping the steering wheel with all my might, and I'm plastering a smile on my face, and I'm reminding myself of everything I have to be grateful for, that I have every reason to be happy. And yet still something wasn't right. You know how you have times in your life where nothing is wrong. And I mean, nothing is wrong, but something's not right. And I couldn't shake it. And I wasn't willing to do anything about it because did I mention I had a good life, right? We got cars and houses, vacations, kids in private school. We're doing a thing, double six-figure incomes. Come on, we got it going on. I'm not doing nothing to mess with this. But one of my mentors used to say, when you're too scared to make a move in your life, life will move on you. It's the matter of a year. My father passed away. My marriage fell apart. My job went away. And my son got sick. And everything fell apart. And I found myself sort of, I like to say I was untethered. You know, those were the anchors. And my anchors are not there. My anchors are not what they used to be. And I spiraled into this dark depression. And right around that time, and you talk about associations. You just talked about associations. And when you're going down, you really, like when you're going up, you need to be careful of your associations. But when you're going down, you need to have certain people in your corner. And I had a wonderful person in my corner who invited me to a personal development seminar. You know, one of those things where they gather speakers together to say positive things to make you feel good about your life. Yeah.
Right.
That's the work that I do now. I wasn't interested. I was like, no. I was having a pity party. I was the guest of honor. I wasn't trying to get out of it. But when you have positive friends, when you're in a community where people are doing positive things for themselves, they're not going to let you go. And so she insisted, and I went to this thing begrudgingly. But I remember I'm sitting in the audience, right? And I'm watching these amazing speakers go across the stage, right? Brian Tracy was there. Michael Gerber was there. Jack Canfield was there. You know what I'm saying? The greats were here. And I'm watching them. And I'm impressed not just by what they're doing on the stage, but I'm impressed by the impact they're having in the audience, right? They're using their words and their passions to impact this audience. This audience is leaning in. They're writing notes. Lives are being changed. And that's when I remembered that I used to be on the stage. And I remember how much joy I had being on the stage and impacting people and being that positive influence in someone else's life. And it was in that moment I decided I was coming back to the stage, but I still hesitated because I looked at people like Michael Gerber, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield. There's something about those three that's very similar. You know what I'm saying? And they're staid, they're stoic, they're doing great, but they're not me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not the representation.
They're not a representation on the outside or even of the energy.
Right.
And so then Les Brown takes the stage. Les Brown takes the stage. That man And it's not just that he looked like me. He was big and bold and had all this energy. The man had me crying, he had me laughing at the same time. It was, and I sat there and I was like, that is what I want to be. That is who I want to be when I grow up. I mean, of all the speakers there, he was the one that moved me into action. I signed up for his program, and can I say I used my last dime, and not even my last dime. I lose the last dime on my credit card. The last dime on the credit card that I was going to pay my mortgage with. You know what I'm saying? But everything in my body said, it is time to bet on me. Everything. And I did it. And I ended up training with him. I ended up speaking internationally with Les Brown. I ran his speaker training program. It changed the trajectory of my life. And that is how I came back to the stage, this time as a speaker and a trainer. And so that's how the transition happened.
I love it. I love that. And so now you were with him for a while and then you transitioned out. Now, you said something at our last, because we were at a training together, and you said something there, and then it was like you changed. It was like at that time you were changing the trajectory. So talk about that a little bit.
Yes, I'm in a transition period right now. Woo! So I liken it to missing a flight, right? Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of personal development. I've coached people. I've done some things, and I'm praying to God. I'm saying, God, I need something, because I'm doing all these onesie coaching things, and I need a format. I need some structure. And then a good friend of mine came to me and said, Star, I've got a structure. I've got this thing. And he wanted to teach it to me. He was ready to teach me this thing. And I said, no, thank you. I know. I said, why don't I just work with you instead of doing it on my own? I believe that was my flight. And I missed my flight.
That's some good stuff, Star. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff. Okay, go ahead.
And I end up on this extended layover in the airport, right? And I'm in the airport and I am jamming in the airport. Can I just tell you? I am doing my thing. I'm coaching, I'm supporting, I'm encouraging. I am loving this time in the airport. And I'm working with people and I'm putting them on flights. See ya. And I'm working and I'm putting them on flights, right? Under, working for my friend, but I'm doing all the things. And it's good. It's all good until it's not good. It's like you get this thing in the back of your head where God is going, hey, babe, you need to be getting on your own flight. No, not going. I'm good here. And, God likes to whisper at first, and then, it gets a little louder, and then he likes to hit you upside the head. And I end up getting hit upside the head, where God was like, you are leaving, and you are leaving now. And I resisted for 9 months, man. It was torture. Should I go? Should I not go? I don't want to go. I have to go. It was torture. It's like over the loudspeaker, they were calling my flight. They're like, Star Bobatoon, we are waiting for you. Star Bobatoon, you've got your boarding pass. Star Bobatoon, get to this flight. And I resisted. And then there was one day that one of our clients came, and she wanted to make a big decision. She wanted to join our program. And she was afraid. And I counseled her. I coached her and convinced her to take a chance on herself. And she did. And while I was happy for her, something in me just broke. And I remember thinking, I cannot help one more person. I cannot help one more person take flight if I won't take flight myself.
That's so good.
I mean, I couldn't wait to finish the day and get to my hotel room. I laid on the floor and cried. And I cried. It's just that I could not do it one more time. And I knew that that was it. I knew that that was it. And this whole resistance, the resistance was me. God said, do this thing. And that 9 months of struggle was all me. Because if I had said, okay, struggle would have been over. Because the minute I said, okay, made my decision, right? I told my friend, I'm stepping down. Whew, it's like it just all the stress went away. Anyway, yes. And at the time that you saw me when I was at that event, I was still holding on. I was still struggling. I was at the very end of struggling, but I was still struggling. But since then, I have been released. I have released myself. Or let's just say I have boarded my flight, right? Right. Where we are on the runway right now. My seatbelt is buckled, my tray table is up, and I'm ready to take off.
I love that. I love that because you're so right. And one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is that there's somebody out there that's waiting just for you, right? You are somebody's person. And when you don't come into the calling in which God has called you to, then you're stopping them from getting where they need to be. So I'm so glad that you have stepped out and now you are the CEO of your own company. You have taken flight. And now there's so many women, because let me tell you something. Some people don't resonate with other people. It just is what it is. I'm not going to resonate with certain people. I just don't. There's certain people that I resonate with, and I'm like, we ride or die. And then there's some people I just don't. And there's no, it's no bad thing towards them. It's just that they are not the person that God has designed to lead me. And I know I'm not one to be led by just any old body. Like, I'm like, you got to be strong. Like, yeah, ask my husband. Okay. Absolutely. It's a whole situation over here. All right. And so,
I agree with that, because just like when I was at that seminar and I saw there were 12 amazing speakers, there was only one who spoke to me. There was only one that made me get up out of my seat. I was there to hear his voice. And one of the things that Les Brown talks about is the fact that for 14 years, he did not use his voice. For 14 years, he stayed in the shadows, muted his voice, dimmed his light. And his biggest regret are the people he did not touch because he hid his light.
That's so good. That is so good. That's so good. So now tell us a little bit about your program.
So my program is called Own Your Stage, because I believe that every time you speak is a performance, and every place you speak is a stage. And when I talk about stage, I'm talking about any stage. If you're having a one-on-one sales conversation, that's your stage. If you're in front of 10 people in a meeting with your team, that's your stage. If you're on a stage of 2,000 people, that's also your stage. And you want to be able to give the best performances you can on the stages you take. What I find is a lot of professionals, a lot of women, especially women in business, they're good at the business, but talking about the business, not so good at. Getting on camera, not so good at. And so I teach them presentation skills. I teach them speaking and presentation skills, right? We start with owning your or creating your map, right? What's your message? Who's your audience? What's your purpose? People jump up and speak all the time and have no idea where they're trying to lead their audience. You've been in talks like this, and you're like, well, that was nice. I have no idea what she does. Yeah, I have no idea what she. Man, I had an interview, a one-on-one call, because I'm networking, doing one-on-one calls with a woman in business. And I thought maybe I'd want to use her. And I kept asking, so what do you do? And she had all these words and she was talking. I was like, but how do you do that? And it was just about, connecting with your true inner self and authentically, blah, 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 all these words. I was like, I have no idea what you do, and therefore I will not be hiring you. This happens all the time. And so you've got to know what your purpose is. You've got to know your message, your audience. So you got to have your map. Then I work with people on their stories, because your story is the most important asset that you have. People will connect with you because of that story. You can have the same products and services as the next person. The only thing that's different is your story. And when you share that story, you create this connection. And now that you've created this connection, people are more open to listen to you. You know how it is. If someone on the street says, girl, you need to lose weight, you're like, excuse me? I don't think so. How dare you even talk to me? You might get an attitude. But if your best friend says, sister, I think you need to lose weight, you might be saying, well, why? What do you think? What are you seeing? You see how that is? Why? Because you're connected. You know this, you know this person, you know they're not trying to hurt you. That stranger, and that's what a lot of people do. A lot of business owners do. They're strangers and they're trying to tell people to lose weight, or they're trying to, tell people what to do. We are all 12 years old inside. You can't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. Anyway, so we start with that story so we can make the connection. And then we are ready to share our talk. Your story is not your talk. They're not the same thing. So your talk is where you are actually giving the information that you have to share. But baby, it's got to be organized. It's got to be clear and concise so people understand it. So I work with you on your talk. And then I work with you on captivating the audience, right? Because you got to be able to engage them. And people are nervous all the time. I have a speaker clinic coming up very shortly called From Fear to Flow, 5 strategies for overcoming nervousness, because people are often nervous about speaking. But that is like the 4th module that I work with people on, captivating the audience, getting that confidence up. And then the last module where I work with people is on closing the sale. There's always a sale. Oh, but I'm not a salesperson. Baby, if you're in business, you're a salesperson. And that story. Because here's the deal, even if you're not selling a product or a service, you are selling an idea. You're selling a concept, right? People, you're selling a new belief. You are selling every time. When you tell your 5-year-old to go to bed, you are having a sales conversation. Who's going to win?
Listen, I said that just last night. I said, all of y'all that are pediatric nurses or geriatric nurses, every last one of y'all are salespeople, okay? Because trying to get them children to take their medicine and trying to get them old people to take their medicine is a whole situation. You hear me?
Whole situation.
Facts. So I love it. Okay, so now tell me, we're going to go into the rapid fire questions. So what has been the most rewarding thing about coaching?
The most rewarding thing about coaching is the transformation. When you have someone like Olivia, who is kind of shy and gentle, and I don't have a story and I don't know what to do. But when I work with someone like that and I can see her stand into herself, that's the greatest joy right there. It is the greatest joy. It's seeing the transformation, knowing that I am having a part in you being the person God has called you to be.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, what's the most common misconception about coaching?
The most common misconception about coaching is that your coach is going to give you something that you don't have.
So good.
We don't do that. We don't know what we do. We dig around in you. We dig. Ooh, don't need that. Don't need that. What's in here? And then we pull out the golden nuggets and then we hold up a mirror. You see that? You see that? I just got that out of you. I love it when I'm coaching and the people, my students will say something amazing. I'm like, wait. They're like, what? What did I say? Girl, what you just said was gold. And they're like, oh, okay, that must be gold. That's what we do as coaching.
I love it. Now, what are you reading now?
What am I reading now? And then I looked at that one, but I'm not actually reading those books. I'm reading the books over by my bed. Atomic Habits.
I love that one. That was so good to me.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in business?
The biggest lessons that I've learned in business is, man, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent because, the business ebbs and flows, and you have to always be marketing. You have to always be in sales mode, because sometimes when you get a certain level, you're like, okay, let me just work on delivering and not working on sales and marketing. And then that ends up going down. Your pipeline gets low. So you got to be consistent with the marketing and the sales.
I love it. Now, who is a leader, living or dead, that you would like to have a conversation with?
Well, I would love to have a conversation with Myron Golden.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted to spend $350,000, that's who I would have that conversation with. He's like 40,000 an hour or something like that. I would love to have a conversation with him. I'd love to have a conversation with John Maxwell.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a conversation with those people.
Love it.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Ooh, yep. Yep.
As a Black woman out here by your lonesome, how do you get up every day? All the things that you face, it makes whatever I face like
nothing.
Like
right.
Disneyland, and you still did this? Please help a sister out. I would love to talk to her.
I love it. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Terminator 2. I don't know why. I do know why. It was one of the first movies I went to with my husband at the time we were dating. And I was just, the whole science fiction, I wasn't really into it. And I just loved it. I love that movie. And then he, like our 10th anniversary, he gave me the 10th anniversary DVD. No, it was a VCR. But anyway, he gave that to me, and I would watch it so often that no one wanted to watch it with me because I knew all the words. And I think why Star? I love the transformation. I love the fact that things got hard, but he kept going, as far as the Terminator, right? He just kept going. And I like the fact that he was learning and growing along the way. You know what I mean? If we could do that, if we could learn and grow and change along the way, we can make such a great big impact in the world.
I love that. I love that. Now, how do you define success?
I define success as the happiness or joy that comes from helping people unmute their voices and see their lights, for helping people see the best in themselves, for being a part of that and making money while I do it. Ta-da! That is success. I want to do the work that I love to do, and I want to have the financial security to do those things. I've been in business for myself for almost 20 years. That's the last time I had a job. 15 years, right? I stopped working as a lawyer in 2011, right? And I've been on my own since then. So I consider that success. Am I where I want to be? I'm not, but I have been good all this time.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of us are where we want to be honest, right? So the only thing, once you reach a goal that changes, is the goal.
It's a new goal.
That's it, right? So, if you got any good sense about yourself, then you would continue to move forward. So now tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at starbobatoon.com. As you see, my name is spelled there, starbobatoon.com. star@starbobatoon.com is my email. On all the socials, I'm Star Bobatoon. And I invite you to my next speaker clinic. It is speakerclinicwithstar.com. speakerclinicwithstar.com. And let's get you owning your stage.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So clap it up, everyone, for Star in the comments. Leave a comment, like, share. It has been a true pleasure chatting it up with you. And you, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.